I am Abigail P. Cabrera, a BS Ed English 1 student, and for today's video panel discussion, I will serve as a moderator to this group. I have my group mates, which is Jasame Carbakil, Angel May Naig, and Baby Yourself. This video consists of 3 lessons, specifically in Module 5, and my group mates are assigned to do each lessons that we've chose. The first one will tackle about organizational leadership. So without further ado, let's start.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasame S. Carbakil, and the assigned module for me is Module 5, Lesson 1, and this is um, Organizational Leadership. Organizational leadership. It encompasses a broader scope of responsibility. It communicates the mission and vision. It also establishes the strategic plan and inspires individuals to put forth their talents to fulfill the goals aligned with the strategic plan. And also, it ultimately the leader's vision. Organizational leadership um, emphasizes on developing leadership skills and abilities that are relevant across the organizations. Students of a well-rounded organizational leadership program can gain skills in the key areas of interpersonal dynamics, team building, and leadership. Having a good leadership in skills helps to foster both a positive and motivating culture for staff and a high quality experience for learners. Before that, let us first define what is a manager and a leader and what are their differences. Manager and leader, let us first define what are their differences. A manager is a representative of the organization that are responsible for the management of the work of a group of employees. And also, it also takes a requisite actions whenever it is required. The work of manager is to formulate the structure of the organization and delegating authority and responsibility to the employees. Um, Managers are also those individuals who are employed by the organization so as to direct and monitor the work of other employees that is working in the organization. They also the ones who get their work done by the employees and have the authority to hire or fire the employees. While a leader is a person who directs, guides, and influences the behavior of his followers towards the attainment of the specific goals. They are the one who provide direction to the employees by creating a vision and communicating it. And it's also encouraging them to reach effortlessly. A leader has a vision who inspires people in such a way that it becomes their vision. Since we are done in knowing the differences between a leader and a manager, and now we come up on the question, is school head a leader or a manager? As we all know, a school head is the staff member of a school with the greatest responsibility for the management of the school. He or she is responsible for the effective general management of the school, for ensuring the provision of the academic leadership and a strategic vision, and for the quality of the student experience. In other words, a school head is both a leader and manager. For the reason that every school head is a leader of a school. His or her decision is expected to be followed because it is for everyone's benefit and for the improvement of the school as a whole. On the other hand, he or she is also a manager because he or she manage the whole organization. So whatever plans they have for the betterment of the school, the stakeholders can attain it to reach the goals and visions. that sets with the support of every individual.
Here is the second one, which she will discuss the lesson 2, and it will focus on leadership skills and styles.
Now let's move on to our lesson two. Our lesson two is all about leadership skills and styles. So, how to become a leader? There are five categories how people attain leadership. First one is the qualified. It is necessary for leaders to achieve certain credentials that are required for the position. Examples of this are um, educational attainment. Of course, in order to become a leader, you should be qualified. You should know what you're doing. You should know better with that certain field. Next is merited. Here, loyalty and eagerness can make people become leader because over time, their participation and good performance are expected. The next one is captured. Leaders also become one by campaigning for the position. Yeah, they are using the political strategy of becoming a leader. The next one is identified. Here, leaders are chosen because of their attributes that is believed to be beneficial for meeting the team's needs. And the last one is defaulted. Here, leaders simply become one because no one is unable to take the responsibilities. I mean, no one is able to take the responsibility rather. And let's move on to the skills demanded of leaders. So there are three. This is according to Pareto 2019. First one is technical skills. Second one is human skill. And the third one is conceptual skill. Technical skills, example of this is sending emails or making PowerPoint presentations. Then the second one is the human skill. Example of this is ability to communicate with people. The third one is the conceptual skill. Example of this is thinking skills, which let you grasp complex ideas and come up with answers for difficult problems. So they are really good in conceptualizing um, situations. So there are different leadership styles. This is according to Pareto. Um, we have four. First is the autocratic leaders. Um, these leaders has ultimate authority. These leaders tend to make choices based upon their own ideas alone. So it means that they don't solicit ideas from their teammates or from their lower level employees. The second one is the consultative leaders. Here, the leaders assume their team has the capability and knowledge needed to excel at their jobs. So, of course, as the name itself, they consult them first before making the decision. So, it's brainstorming with their teammates. And the third one is the democratic leader. So here the Democratic leader asked input and feedback from their team before making a decision. So just like consultative leaders, they also solicit ideas from their team before making a decision. And the last one is the laissez-faire, laissez-faire leadership. Um, it has an attitude of trust and reliance on their employees. So it means that these leaders really trust their employees and they rely on their employees. That's
And for the last one, it will talk about the teacher leadership style. And this part of the lesson discusses the different definitions of teacher leadership.
So let's proceed to lesson 6. In this lesson, I'm going to discuss the different definition of teacher leadership and explore the key areas that can foster the growth of teachers leaders. So what is teacher leadership? Teacher leadership reflects all of these qualities and many more in their teacher leadership through everyday interaction with students, colleges, and the school community. Teacher leadership is a package of attitude, knowledge, and skills that are continually developed. Rules in teacher leadership. Teacher leadership vary greatly. All teachers leaders, whether designed as a leader throughout certification and job title or simply making difference in their school and community, drive education forward. Here are just few rules that many take on. So teacher leadership is very, very important because while teachers have always taken on informal leadership roles in their school and community, now it's more important than ever that teacher leadership is defined and encouraged. Teachers have an enormous impact on our students and our communities. Shaping the minds of children is no small feat. Some educators take their devotion to teaching a step further by becoming teacher leaders. Teacher leaders take on various roles. They collaborate, research, innovate, mentors, and advise among numerous other responsibilities. While teacher leadership takes on many forms, one thing is for certain. Teachers leaders are making a concentrate difference in our school and community. Effective teachers need to be leaders for their students. It's critically important that teachers possess leadership skills because it is a fundamental factors that is required to enhance the instructional quality of teachers both inside and outside the classroom. Teacher leadership is important because we are the only ones who can improve education. We are the ones who can approach the problem of pedagogy not through our own past experience, but through the eyes of the children that we serve every day. There are certainly decisions that should not be left exclusively to teachers, such as operational or the managed task. It is has a passion for both teaching students and mentoring or assisting fellow teachers. Peer teachers have the greatest influence on other teachers in impacting school-wide change and driving improvement in our classroom. Teachers leaders step outside the classroom to bring their expertise to larger platforms, influencing educational culture, practicing and growth in their communities. They may help other teachers that can improve their ability to instruct students, or they may lead teams to better meet the needs of the students, school and community. Some focus much of their time on helping parents better work with their children, while others push for reform through political means. In short, the list of responsibilities teachers leaders takes on his seemingly endless. Teacher leadership has a conceptual framework, and it is a guide for how a teacher education program is planned and organized. This conceptual framework shows the reader how different elements come together to facilitate research and a clear understanding of result. If the conceptual framework is correctly guided by higher people or teacher, it can give a positive result that can also help the children as well. The conceptual framework assumes that professionalism is not a platform but rather a career-long process of reflection and growth. Ongoing process whereby teachers constantly enhance their understanding of how inquiry, contextualism, and partnership relate the teacher learning process.
Uh, Out of all your discussion, how can a teacher be a good organizational leader, or should we say a good manager also?
All day, teachers are leaders. There should be a balance between an authoritative and affiliative leadership in teaching a class. They set a good example by how they act, speak, and behave. They guide their students through rigorous learning activities and challenging tests or activities. Activities, events, and extracurricular programs are what foster a positive school culture, and they frequently necessitate additional leadership from teachers.
Out of all the leadership styles you've mentioned, what impacts you the most in developing an organization?
Democratic leadership is one of the most effective leadership because it allows lower level employees to exercise authority that they will need in future roles. Um, in a company board meeting, for example, the democratic leader might present a few decision-making possibilities. Then they start talking about these possibilities individually. After discussion, this leader might need to consider the board's thoughts or feedback, or maybe they may put the matter to vote.
You discussed the effects of teacher leadership in the society, but how does teacher leadership affects in students' learning?
Its effect clearly on how students adapt the information and lesson in the ways of the teacher for school success and progress. Teacher leadership is critical. Despite decades of literature on the subject and repeated recommendation for more research into teacher leadership as a technique for improving school and students' learning quantitative. Empirical studies have been lacking until recently.